let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk, let's talk. Conversations that cool. Kitchen talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk, let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? 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 Kitchen talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk, let's talk. Conversations that cool. Kitchen talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk, let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about?
Hey.
Hey, what?
You know, girl. That is
We all know we had kitchen talk.
okay. So welcome, welcome. This
Hey,
is
y'all.
Kitchen Talk CTC. Kim, you got it.
Conversations that cook, but I'm in the bathroom cleaning. How about that?
Oh my goodness, girl, you hilarious. So I'm super excited always to be here on Thursday night with y'all at 9 o'clock. Doing it.
Doing it well.
Yeah, what is you doing? You cleaning out the bathroom.
I left out of there because it's too much.
You done put too much spray somewhere.
Now I'm high and stuff. I'll come outside for a breath of fresh air. Because I done messed up.
Yeah, you done mixed something that ain't supposed to be mixed. Them chemicals will get you.
Yeah, I'm out the door now. You know, bleach don't go with everything. Yeah.
Kim, you
Smell good though in there.
You can't mix bleach with everything, Kim.
It smells good in there though. It
You
smells
gotta
good.
use one or the other.
Yeah, I'm gonna do better. Woo.
Oh goodness. So you know, the ladies can't always hold it down, Kim. So
I know.
guys get here. And if they don't come, you know, we do what we do.
That's right. we don't need y'all nowhere out there in Never Wonderland. How about that?
Right, that part.
Girl power rock, yeah.
Okay. All the time. We run the world. We just let them think they doing something.
Exactly.
So, Kim, I don't know if you remember this, but you remember social studies class, right?
Yeah, I did pretty good in that area.
Okay. So, when we used to have social studies class, we used to have to do a weekly report of current events. Do you remember that?
I did that.
So, you had to actually, you know, I know people don't really remember this, but you had to actually read the newspaper, a literal physical newspaper,
or bring a newspaper clipping with you.
Right. And read the story and then tell about the story as your current event. So this social studies class today, Kim, this social studies class.
Yeah, so much going on.
So much going on.
Civic 101.
Okay, so one of the things, I might wait and say this for the guys though, because it's going to be interesting. So I want to talk about, I know we said a couple of things. Oh, Mighty Ma!
What's going on?
What's going on?
Oh, ain't too much.
Hey, Dr. Scott, how are you?
Listen, I'm doing all right. I apologize for my tardiness, but you know, around this time, Marty Marby,
No, not the snowing.
Okay.
I wasn't snoring, but if it weren't for France with the text, I would.
You it'd have been all over. So I'm gonna tell you, I told my workplace today, I was like, look, I'm leaving here at 5 o'clock today. And I think I got out of there about 5:15, 5:30. And when I tell you I came home, do not judge me. But I did not take off any of my clothes and got straight in the bed.
Girl,
Left
what
all
that is?
my clothes on. I was like, I'm sleepy.
Who
Hey,
would judge that?
I'm
I'm
about to
just
say, ain't no judge. This is a judgment-free zone.
oh, right here. Okay, thank you. Oh my God. I had to take a nap.
Oh yeah,
I had to take a nap. It was that serious.
yeah. I think it's like all those when you were young and you think you're invincible and you could just go.
Yeah.
Also when you get a little older, not a lot older, just a little older,
Yeah, it
yeah,
catches up with you, don't
it
it?
catch up with you.
Because as a little girl now, I hated taking naps. Like, I just couldn't do it. JT,
I mean,
Ah,
y'all can't see me.
no,
No,
we can't see
I
you,
mean,
Kim.
your last name is Black.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Oh,
And
I know
they,
why. Wait a minute. I'm a little off. That's okay. I got it together. See,
there you
cheese.
go.
Modern technology, I'll tell you.
Kim, why is you in the dog?
Girl, let me.
and this
I
is
don't get
kit,
hot. I'm trying to calm down.
and this is kitchen talk,
Right.
not bedroom chat.
hey, we can turn it into that though.
No, we
No,
can't.
we
No, we
cannot.
can't. No, we cannot.
We
We are
cannot.
we are keeping this
What had
PG.
happened was I was trying to get me another device.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a little high, so I was trying to get away from the smells.
Because
Okay.
you done mixed up all of cleaning solutions.
Yeah.
Now that's dangerous, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why
man, listen.
I went outside and got some fresh air. It singed the hair in my nose a little bit.
Well,
Yeah.
you ever listen? Y'all ever use so much bleach that you almost knock yourself out?
Yeah,
Right. That's what she just did.
Yeah.
Yes, I've done
A young man died this a few years back now. At a store, they mixed cleaning solutions, bleach and ammonia, and so everybody else went outside, and he went back in trying to clean it up,
Mm-hmm.
and he died. So you got to be careful with that stuff.
What?
Yeah, you do. Very
Lord
careful.
Jesus, I'm gonna do better.
it.
Bleach and
Yeah.
ammonia does not mix.
It wasn't ammonia, it was some other stuff I had mixed up prior to, and I added a little bleach
Yeah,
with
but it's
it.
probably, but again, when you look at the ingredients, it probably had bleach and ammonia in it.
Yeah.
No. Fransley Moise, how are you?
I
Right.
am working on greater. Good to see you guys.
Good to see
Hello,
you.
my brother.
My brother,
Greetings to you.
Miss Black. Good to
What's
see
going
you.
on?
What's up?
What's up?
And my brother,
Hey,
Doctor Scott.
Yeah, Scott.
what's going on?
You know,
We
I'm
got
already
a
excited.
full house tonight. I
Yeah,
love
we
it.
do. I'm excited because we got some good stuff to talk,
We
especially with Miss
do. We
Black on
do.
it.
We do. I was
Black
just
bring the tea.
Because
just
people
telling
right.
Kim.
I was debating on whether I was gonna put on a shirt or not, but I got on this tank top. It's gotten kind of small because some things is working around here.
Them
And
push-ups. Them
Listen,
push-ups.
I done moved on from push-ups, bro. I'm talking about it. We on these weights and everything else. I'm doing my intermittent fasting. I don't eat bread no more.
What?
Listen, the stomach done got snatched a little bit.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
get you
listen.
You get it some already, or that's a lifetime commitment?
Man, we trying to go lifetime now, bro.
Oh, there it is.
Man,
We can't be around here doing stuff for the summer no more. We getting grown.
That's why I'm gonna eat these chips for you.
All
Now,
right.
let me say this now. Let me say this to you. And again, it's good that you know cutting out some of the carbs and things like that now. But just from a pharmacist standpoint, you know, you do need carbs in your diet, right?
Yeah.
You know, part of the problem is that we overload because we get carbs from too many different areas. You know, when we're drinking, we're getting carbs. When we're eating, we're getting carbs, and so we're overload. So you know, when we go through things where we cut out some of the carbs, that's great. But again, just remember, your brain uses carbs to function.
Mm.
So if you ever notice when you're going through a time of fasting and you cut out the carbs, sometimes your thought process gets sluggish.
That's why I
Yes.
go bread.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm
So
gonna tell you, my first week was real hard.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
yeah.
Woo.
So yeah. So just understand that. So don't, you know, again, it's about learning how to get good carbs. You
Mm.
know, you want complex carbohydrates and not simple sugars.
Yeah.
And again, you know, but a serving of carbohydrates may not be as much as we think. But again, you know, we normally overindulge on proteins and fats as well. So
Mhm.
Yes.
but
I
try
used
to
to,
hear that from me because I ain't on the block.
I used to like,
Why Miss Black went to get another bag of chips.
Right. I love it. I love it.
hey, and you know
So-
what's crazy, man? She doing that. I ain't had a bag of chips, and oh Lord, I don't remember the last time I had chips.
Bless your heart. You're doing so well.
It's
Go
a
ahead, Lisa.
sacrifice.
I'm sorry.
No,
It's a
it's fine.
sacrifice,
I was
man.
gonna tell JT we probably could have even seen those muscles with a nice, you know, fitted tee on.
Yeah, I bet. You just want me to put on some clothes,
I
but I'm gonna
do.
be naked for these people.
Hey,
Well,
Now,
I'm
wait a
glad we
minute.
can only see your face. Thank you, Jesus.
hey, he was between being naked and a shirt. So he said, you know, I'll go in between.
Yeah.
So I was just telling Kim before you guys came on. Do you guys remember social studies class?
Yeah.
Remember social studies class, and we
Uh-huh.
had the you had to do a weekly report on like a current event. You had to actually
Correct.
read the newspaper and bring the article and all of that. So this is social studies class today. That's what we're doing. That's what
Oh, that newspaper is a lot of stuff on there.
Mm.
Well, hopefully it's not fake news.
I know, right?
Ooh, with all that's
So
going on.
I do want to ask this question right here, and this is more of the entertainment section. So it's a big to do about, you know, the breakup of Michael B. Jordan and the Harvey girl.
But why?
I
Is
don't want to talk about it.
I'm trying to figure out what is the big deal. They broke up, so what? She
They
didn't want
broke
to
up,
get
but
married, so what?
listen, he wanted to. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm
Oh,
gonna leave it
you
alone.
was going there. He wanted to take it to the next level.
But Lori Harvey is a hoe, so you know, she is what she is. She
No,
lets
she's
everybody,
not.
huh?
She's just exploring her options.
Thank you.
Listen, this girl slept
What?
with Diddy and his son.
She ain't
How
no.
y'all know they slept together just because they dated?
No, they said that, Lizzie. Yeah.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
listen.
Here we go with the double standard.
Man,
Listen, Lisa,
No.
it's not double standards. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
when are we going to get
If
to
it was reversed,
when are we going to get to the place?
y'all wouldn't be putting him on blast like that.
When are we going to get to the place where we understand men and women are different?
They are different.
And
And they are the same at times.
but at the end of the day,
I'm gonna
we
let y'all
shouldn't
know.
be. We're not.
We're
And
not.
you got to
I'm
understand that.
just saying, in behavior wise,
Nope.
sometimes the things that y'all do, some women do. What's the problem?
Okay, all right.
But a
Okay.
woman can't do that. Now, all honestly, a woman cannot do the same things that a man do because she's going to be frowned upon because that's not what society has her as.
No,
Oh yeah. Because a man just told me that you can't do what I do.
I understand that, but let me break this thing down
Break
to the
it on
molecular
down.
level.
Break it on down.
So it
Okay.
will always and
Yeah, I'm
forever
not
be
giving another
broke.
bag of chips.
So what we got to understand is this: when it comes to men and women, right? Women are born with value. right? And
Some of
think of it like a car, right? Think of it like a car. Women are born with inherent value. The more miles they get on their bodies, the less value they're deemed to have by the person that's going to purchase the car. Men, listen to me. Men look at women differently the more miles they have. Now,
Did
women.
you just compare a woman to a car?
yes, he did.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, it's the truth.
But that's what, but you know what? In all honesty, that's what men do. That's what he's a man. I can't get mad because that's how they think.
Men value women that have less miles. Men, see you.
That been with less. Don't say less miles. Let's get out the miles. Let's say men value women that have had less sexual partners than they have.
Well, okay. I was trying to say,
Now we're gonna keep this thing 100 tonight.
All right. So, and you got to understand. So from birth, women have value like that. Men, we don't really get value until we get older because we're taught we got to work, we got to get a job, we got to do this, you got to do that. And then as you get to a certain place, now your value for a man begins to go up. I can remember I used to work in a library, right? And I asked a lady, because she was like, I was working and she looked at, remember back in the day, you used to have the book cards that you had to check the cards out and stuff like that. So one row was full, the other row was maybe a fourth of the way full. And she was like, what's these, your phone numbers? And I was like, no, but let me ask you a question. I said, if this guy here got all these numbers, right, over here, and this guy only had this small group of numbers, which guy would you want to talk to? And she said, I would rather talk with the one with all the numbers because I want to see what's about. Now, you may say, oh, that's not most, but again, a lot of women think of like, if a man, we say this, a woman knows when a man doesn't have anybody. And if a man doesn't have anybody, he doesn't have any value. And I'm just speaking from a man's point of view now. The women don't really want to talk to him.
Yep.
Now, it's different for a man. It's different for a man. If a man sees a woman and she's not talking to a lot of people, she got it going on, he wants that. He wants her. If he sees a woman and she's sleeping with a model man, he don't want her, he wants that.
I agree with you on that.
That's just the way it is.
Here's the thing with the Harvey situation. He accepted her for who she is and wherever else she has to bring. He put that beside. He said, no, I'm loving you for you. And I want to take this to the next level. But she did not want to move in that space. And that's nothing to say that's bad from her end. But again, looking at it from society's side, everybody going back to Kevin Samuels, you looking for a 6-figure. This is like you got the lottery card and you just threw it away for whatever reason. She had literally the lottery card, the card that a lot of women would want, and she's like, nah, I'm good.
But I mean, she might as well go ahead and be a porn star because that's how she moves.
Well, here's the other thing.
I didn't go that
agree
far.
with that because I don't think people have taken into account that most people are thinking that she's a gold digger, but she's already coming in with her own money and stuff. So it's not even about that. I think it's more or less understanding that here is a guy that was willing to pour into you and you just let it go. You know what I mean?
That's going to be hard to find considering how you're already labeled.
Correct.
You're right.
But regardless of how much she has, we're not even talking about the money and stuff. This is somebody who really genuinely loved you for who you are. And that's not always easy to find. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can I say this also, right? So not to get, Bible, but, in the Bible, there's something called the law of first mention. How it's mentioned first. If we see it later on, and if there's any confusion, then you can always go back to how it was first mentioned. Now, I'm saying that to say men are like that a lot of times when it comes to women. no matter how much you want to change, if a man saw you one way and he wants you that way, no matter how much time passed, you know what I mean? Unless he's changed, he still only wants what? Only wants that.
Right.
So what I'm saying is she let this guy go who was loving her for her and wanted to take it to another level. Well, the next guy that sees her, first of all, for her, she's going to want to have to do what? She wants to step up.
Yeah.
So it has to be somebody that's on another level than a Michael B. Jordan. And I don't know how far you go to get as far as like the success and the fame and all that stuff, being that, you know,
without all the rumors and no bad reputation.
Yeah.
Because other guys would want her, but they're not going to want her for what he wanted her for.
Correct.
Yeah.
They're going to want her for the first mention. You follow what I'm saying? They're going to want her for it's like a woman with 6 kids. If you find a guy that's willing to marry you with 6 kids, and then you just blow him off, you'll find another guy that want to have sex with you. But it's going to be hard to find another guy that's going to marry you.
But you know what? Y'all a whole trip. I know plenty of women with children that get married, and I know plenty of women that have no children keeping themselves together that ain't married yet. So
that's not what he said, though. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. No. I can't let you throw him under the bus like that.
Listen, this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, it is really strange how we have just this one blanket. This the way it works, and that's not the way it works. Not for everybody.
Listen,
but we lump everything together.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said. That's not what he said.
Okay.
And let me say this: you can always find an exception to a rule.
So you saying that that's the rule,
but that's not the norm.
But you just said that's the rule.
So I don't even think it's the rule that's meant to be. I think it's more or less.
If a woman explores and has a good time, just as a man has a good time, y'all doing the same exact thing. She a hoe and need to be a porn star, and he all right. He just sewing his Rolex.
Now I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to that at all.
That is the rule. That's what y'all just said.
He is other communities
on her, so don't nobody want her. She might as well just go be a trick.
I can't say what I want to say, but all I'm gonna say is all the part of the community.
Step from a porn star.
It's all the community. She community.
Is he a porn star too?
Look,
is he one step from being a porn star?
He community too. He community. That means he go with everybody.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we can agree to disagree on that one all day long.
So I think Kim brought up a good social studies current event in the, I don't know if y'all saw her YouTube video
of the man that was killed.
In was it Buffalo, New York?
Buffalo,
Yeah.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that. I first thought it was very
Aaron Salters.
Yeah, he was the community guy who was helping a lot of people, but created a system that we didn't have to use gas.
Yeah, a car that runs on pretty much water.
Oh yeah, man! Listen,
he's not the only one.
I do not want to. They ain't finna come and knock on my door and the black van pull up in my yard, because boy, listen, that right there was that. If y'all want to talk about conspiracy theories, that right there is one.
It is a whole trip. That whole shooting and incident is a whole trip, because one of the reports or one of the witnesses said he saw the guy the day before, talked to the guy because he looked out of place. Said they had, whatever conversation, they talked about everything. But why would he not? And I say this all the time when I see stuff out of place. What stops me from calling the police?
Nothing.
When I see things that that or people that I feel like don't belong in this area. Am I the person to judge on that, or is it just like, the whole commercial, see something, say something, what's supposed to be in your everyday or whatever.
But some of us just mind our own business.
Hey, that's what I was just gonna say. In the Black community,
But-
there's a lot out of place that we don't say nothing about.
But
Yeah.
minding your own business,
But
could he have called the police and said, dude, look out of place? Would
But-
they have come? Would they have looked into who this guy was? Because apparently he had a whole bunch of stuff, social media or whatever,
Yeah.
playing, and he was doing this thing.
But they
it's
was
hard
all they
because
was gonna do was send somebody else to go and kill him.
it's
Oh,
yeah, you said
They
it.
coming out the window.
but
Yeah.
But there's another piece to that in terms of the Karen situation, right? Because we are in certain areas,
Out of place.
and people be like, "You out of place," so then they call the police, and then now we are in an uproar.
mhm.
We got to be very careful.
Well,
when we
that's
do
my point.
the thing is one, we got to be very careful when we do that, and two, our police have to be trained to understand what happened. So we in a very strange time, because you're right, we should be able to call, but when we call, the police should come in and not be ready to kill and down everything, right? Put you down, put you in handcuffs because you out of place. So it's a catch-22 right now.
Yeah, and to me, I think the thing is too, when we say look out of place, what does that really mean?
Correct.
Yeah, that's
Correct.
I
another
mean,
thing.
is
Okay.
it just a
You got a white man, and a predominantly 80% of the people walking around are Black folks. Going into it's in it's a Black part of town. There's a Black grocery
but
store,
again,
and he just out of nowhere he casing the place for a couple of days, and you don't ding 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 ding.
but
Mhm.
again, what I'm saying is this: I grew up in the projects, and that's not uncommon.
Yeah, it's not uncommon in certain. You're right. It's not uncommon. But what I'm
See,
saying about us as Black, and that's just real Black people all together. There can be things out of place because we're minding our business, and we're not that type of people that call the police for everything.
Right.
We let things go that we should not let go, that we should be addressing.
But
The
another,
simple fact that we mind how we like, we ain't got nothing to do with
but
it.
it's not that we just mind our business, but also we understand that a lot of times when the police show up, it don't always work in our favor.
Right.
And that's my point. I wanted somebody else to say it.
Yeah.
besides
How
me.
many times have we called the police, and when the police got there, they're trying to arrest us, and somebody else has to say, "Hold up, that's not the guy."
That's
Yeah.
why I was saying it's a catch-22.
So,
Right.
and then also, like I say, that's why I say it all depends on what when we say out of place, what does it mean? Because if it's just a white guy in a Black neighborhood, we're probably 9 times out of 10 are not going to say anything, because we get tired of white people looking at us when they feel like we're in a predominantly white neighborhood, as if we don't belong. You know what I'm saying? So 9 times out of 10, we're not going to say anything, right? I think the bigger issue is when he started entering, when he got out the car and started going toward the store, or not whatever he was, but when he started going toward the store and they saw the guns and people started calling the police, the response that they got, that's the bigger issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Because if I'm not mistaken, part of that was the police act like they didn't even believe it when they called 911.
Wow.
But here's the other piece is that if it was a Black man that had the gun, as soon as they called, there would have been like 50 police officers there ready to gun him down. So it's hard to say. You see this going down, you see, and two, they view you differently. There was a study done where 2 individuals were walking down the street. One was a white man with a gun, AR-57.
AR-15.
AR-15, he had it strapped on. He walked down the street, no problems. Literally, police walked by, no problems. In a state where you can carry. That's important to know. A Black man, same street. He's walking down. Even before he could get to the end of the block, the police had already wrapped the street down, told him to put his gun down, face down on the floor. They view you differently in those types of situations. Same thing happened in the school shooting, where Okay, it
We
was
ain't-
a black male. All right, we're gonna be cautious when we go in. If it was a black male, you know they was going in blazing
Yeah,
hot.
blazing.
You know what I mean?
I knew.
So
I
we gotta
mean,
be.
Western.
I agree with you, Ms. Black. In our community, we still got to be very vigilant
Mhm.
because we also have to police ourselves.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
also got to use our own instincts to say, "Oh, this is happening. I need to look out," because we used to do that back in the day. You watched out for your neighbor, right?
But also, you got to remember too, in times past, even if it was a black person going into going into that store in that neighborhood with a gun, in a black neighborhood, you got to remember one of the biggest issues as well used to be what? Police response time. I
Mhm.
dialed 911 a long time ago.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? So response times in our communities is oftentimes delayed as well. So it's you will get a different response if he's walking with a gun in a predominantly white neighborhood.
Correct.
I'm not 100% sure you're going to get that same response time
No.
if he's coming in the black neighborhood, because now it's just him killing other blacks. So
Correct.
with that being said, would that get the same result?
It wouldn't, and that's why I went to. We got to watch out for each other as well.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
got to use our instincts, but we also got to be very careful. So it's a lot going on that we really are in a catch.
Right.
22.
But the guy that talked to him had that instinct, like something ain't quite right with this dude, whatever. And he engaged him in conversation.
But
And
but
so,
again,
it's
what do
like,
you do?
what is the response to that? So
Aim to kill you.
So I mean, again, you're talking to someone and something doesn't seem right. But again, that goes back to when you say something doesn't, what does that doesn't seem right? And there's that grounds to say, hey, there's a guy and something just doesn't seem right. Because when you call the police and you say, hey, there's a guy in this neighborhood and something just doesn't seem right about him, what's going to be the response?
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
If he's not doing anything, what is he doing? That's your fault. He just out of place. What do you mean he's out of place? Well, he's white. Oh, so now you're saying you see what I'm saying? So,
and that's my
It's
point right
different
there.
if it's a white guy, if it's a black guy in a white neighborhood. Like
it's
Then that's
different.
different.
what you
I
doing?
can
There?
tell
We'll
you.
be there
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, he's walking down the road and he looks really suspicious, and he has
And we've
So-
seen it over and over again, right? Like the guy
Oh,
lives
all
in a
the time.
building.
That's
He
why
lives
I
in
be
a
sitting right
building.
in my car like, I can't call. I mean, I could call the police, sure. Yes, I have that option. But I already know
Yeah.
ain't
Right.
nothing gonna be done.
No,
You know.
again, if it was somebody else, okay, we'll be there.
Right.
This is my house, and you call in the police. I'm working on a job, and you calling the police on me.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You calling
Yeah.
the police on me.
Yeah.
So
And I can tell you, as a person that stayed in Buffalo for a small period of time, Tops is Piggly Wiggly.
Oh, I know. Oh, okay. It got a little mixture of people in there, but mostly
Yeah.
us.
Wegmans is Publix. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Wegmans is the store that everybody wants to, that's the Publix in Buffalo. But Tops is, Piggly Wiggly, Save a Lot type situation. You see what I'm saying? So I know a little bit about, the areas up there a little bit.
I want to go back to a conversation we had last week. If you didn't watch the show last week, please go back and watch that show. But Dr. Scott, you made a point that it's important for all of us to have a concealed weapon or have a weapon on hand. Because if you had that,
I do.
I got to drop you, boy.
But the thing is, we do. There's a lot of us that do, but there's not as many. Because if they knew that this hood is protected, like your boy was doing with Malcolm X was trying to do, you will have less people casing your neighborhood.
Can I say though? Do you think this is my issue, man? This is one thing because I have guns, but this is my thing. If I don't kill him, right? I'm in that grocery store. I'm armed. I see what's going down. He's drawn his weapons and everything else. I draw mine. He can't see me. I take his leg out. I don't kill him. I take his firearm away from him, get it away from him or whatever. My only thing is,
You going to
I
jail?
don't want them to come and get me and say, he shot this man or whatever, and now I'm under arrest.
No,
But
you're
I
not.
you going to jail.
You're not, because you are already protected under law. You're protecting
You
yourself.
going to jail?
No, he's
That's
not.
what I'm saying.
Not in the state of Florida, you're not.
Well, no.
Not in the state of Texas, you're not. Not
Okay,
in
no,
certain states.
Listen,
You're not going to go to jail. For it.
you're saying in a place where the laws are applied evenly.
Thank you.
That's
So
your
again,
assumption.
Again, it depends on the state and their
Don't
laws.
make a difference in the state. It depends on who's applying the law at that time. Because the laws aren't applied evenly and
See how you feeling, friends, about this situation right here? That's how I was feeling about how y'all was talking about the women.
Payback.
Hey,
Payback.
it's
not even. It's not even. You're right, Lisa. It's not even, and that's going back.
It was an incident about 5-6 years ago where something like that happened.
You don't even have to go 5-6 years, JT. That happened just recently. It happened, but it didn't get on mainstream media. Guy was out. Somebody came out, actually, and it was a lady that shot the shooter. The lady shot and killed the shooter. It didn't get out on mainstream media, but she was protecting the community. Did she get arrested, go to jail? No, because she was, again, stopping a larger threat.
And where was that?
I got to go back and find it.
Because we need to know so we can put her on mainstream.
The mainstream media don't want you to know about that.
But what I'm trying to get, what I'm trying to get you to understand though is this:
that black man right there is gonna go to jail.
But if you
alive.
Yeah, if you go back just a few years ago, there's a situation where a black guy was defending and protecting someone, and when the police showed up, they arrested him. The white lady said he's not the guy, it's the other guy. They didn't want to listen to what she said.
Well, and again, those situations will pop up, but there's something that Mutaki said to us on one of his shows, which is,
love how optimistic France is.
You don't fight in the street. You fight in the courthouse. So if you know your laws, especially if you're carrying a weapon,
I think you're missing the point.
If you're carrying a weapon, you have to know the laws that come with it. And if you have to fight, that's not the time to fight in the street, even though you were right. Okay, I'm good. Put my weapon down, put my hands behind my back. You take me to court, then we go from there.
I think you're missing the point though, Franz.
He missed it.
I think you're missing the point. The point is not saying that you don't have rights, and I'm not saying that you don't do what you say and you fight it in court. We're saying in similar situations, if it was flipped, the white individual may not have to take it to court.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. But that comes with the territory, knowing that that's the world we live in, right? We understand that. Like I
said, and as a point of clarification, when I said that, as blacks we need to get guns, I said because that's how we will get them to do gun control.
I agree.
Oh yeah. Then we start doing something. Oh no, we got it's out of hand. They're doing what we do.
These Negroes have gone too far.
It was when you said that last week about let us all go out and get assault rifles and see what happens.
Again, they're gonna change gun laws.
Yeah. It's very interesting. It's very interesting that I've seen accidents like here in Tallahassee, and the street never get changed. And the wrong or the right person get in an accident, and all of a sudden we need a light here, or I don't know what caused who had to die that caused us to now be mandatory to wear a seatbelt, or who had to die or get in trouble, and now it's a mandatory you got to be 21 to drink, but you could be 18, 19 and buy a gun.
Yeah. And my thing,
But also, and just real quick, so this guy, I was watching this guy, and he was adding up the amount of ammunition and the guns that the guy had in Texas.
Yeah.
And he's like, this guy had over $8,000 worth of weapon. He says, now where does an 18-year-old get that kind of money to get them weapons from? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, you cannot, dissolve the responsibility that the parents or wherever he got that money from to purchase those weapons, because an AR-15 ain't cheap.
It's not. And the bullets for it are not cheap.
Ain't that cheap?
Not the good ones. The good ones ain't cheap at all.
They ain't cheap.
And not only he had other pistols.
He had so many rounds with him. You follow what I'm saying? So where did he get the money to get this at the age of 18? Did he save up all this birthday money?
No, and that's why I don't put aside the theory that it was probably a hit on the gentleman that we're talking about. Somebody had to give him the money and the access. Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Well, I don't know about that guy. I was talking about the guy in Uvalde, Texas, that just happened. They were adding up the money for that for what he had, because he had a lot of rounds. He had a lot of weapons.
It's been over I read an article. It's been over 200 mass shootings.
Mm-hmm.
Just in 2022. So we are 6 months in?
6 months in.
Yeah.
6 months in.
And don't blame it on COVID.
And
right.
And nobody seems to think that there should be some laws changed.
I mean,
this is why I have such disdain sometimes for politicians.
Well, the thing is, it's not that people don't think that something should happen. The problem is that the people who think something should happen don't have enough leverage to make things happen.
And my point is, if you are in a position of power and you don't think this a problem, to me, that's a problem.
Yeah. And then the other issue is, okay, when you say change, what change needs to happen? You know what I mean? So let's say that, okay, they put a ban on AR-15s, and so now no one can buy a new AR-15. But what about the people who already got them? You know what I'm saying? So now how do I feel?
Who you think gonna turn theirs in?
Yeah. And then what about the fact that I'm like, well, dog, what if I want one? They got one now. Are you telling me I can't get one?
But the trip part is, how are you selling this? Who needs an assault rifle?
Why exactly? Why does somebody need a military style rifle?
Why is it even on the market for an ordinary citizen to buy?
I got one.
That's
why.
Well, hey, listen, I don't think that it should be sold. But Lisa, if somebody else has it and you don't have it, it's going to be a problem.
The have and the have-nots.
Correct. You can't go to a knife fight or a gunfight with the wrong gun, or a knife fight and a gunfight and you got a knife.
So you saying that if it does get banned, which it probably won't, saying that you can't collect the ones that are already out there?
You cannot. The best thing they could do is ironically, what Barack Obama was trying to do. It's the same thing as having a car. You already got your license. We need to know what you have. You need to register it, so we know what you have. And then you need to go in every year or every 2 years or whatever and re-register, so we know what you have, and then we know that you're competent enough to drive or use that weapon. If not, you lose your weapon or you give it to whatever. But there should be a system. The problem is people are not on the same page of what that system should look like.
Right.
And to be honest with you, the people who are selling the guns, they rather, of course, want more guns out there.
Oh yeah, because that's what
that's how they're making their money.
Go ahead, bro.
I don't know if y'all remember the movie, but I think it came out in like about between like 93 and 95 when the Black Panthers had a movie. Melvin Van Peebles did it. And you know, I remember reading an article on it just a few years ago, and they was talking about how educated the Black Panthers really were. But I guess the Hollywood studios came to Melvin Van Peebles and like, we want to do this and do that. And he was like, hell no. But it was the fact that they changed laws. There was a scene in the movie where Huey P. Newton pulled a gun on a cop and was like, well, the cop was like, what you doing with that gun, boy? And all this type of stuff. And he was like, well, according to article this, section that, blah, 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 I'm allowed to have this, that, and the third. And, you know, well, you can't have it if it's loaded or whatever. He cocked the gun. Well, according to this, now it is loaded, but it's allowed to be loaded as long as my people are feeling threatened or whatever. And what did they do? They went and changed the laws so the Black Panthers would be looked at as threats.
Correct.
Again, that goes back to my statement before, the intent.
If you
want gun laws to change, then when we get guns, you know, and we become okay, no, we got to change law because now that's their threat.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? And so I can remember exactly what you're talking about, you know, you know, and they begin to change the laws because, again, hey, how can you put the Black Panthers, you know, the leaders on their America's Most Wanted list?
Yeah, them boys, you know brothers was educated. But they knew all the laws and everything that they needed to know to carry guns.
That was the threat.
Yeah,
but then you have all these other I'm gonna call them gangs and terrorist cells in America that are plotting to overthrow the government. You follow what I'm saying? They don't believe in government. They don't, you know what I mean? And yet and still they're not on America's Most Wanted list.
Well, you had a whole bunch of them that went up to the Capitol and tried to
listen.
You know, but there was no, you know, recourse or very little recourse.
Yeah. Listen, y'all have been hearing more and more about the RICO thing or whatever. All right. So I'm looking at this new thing they got on HBO Max where they was talking about the mob, right? So they used the RICO situation to take down the Gambinos and the Gino Beasley families and all these. They used that, right? Then they just did that for the kid to take down the dudes in Atlanta, the rappers or whatnot. So you can't use this whole RICO situation to take down the KKK or my bad. I mean,
all of the government, all the senators and stuff gonna be gone. What you talking about?
You know,
you're right.
But you know,
all the judges, all the cops, everybody gonna be gone.
It's about, you know, it's about money and power. You know what I mean? You think about this, right? So like a state representative only gets 20 something less. They get less than $30,000 a year. So, and it's like a part-time job. All right. But again, like he was saying last week. So what do you think they're putting in all this time for? What do you think they're doing this for? They're doing it for power, for impact, for influence. You know what I mean?
For money, because other people giving them money besides the money that they get from.
Well, you get in the leverage, and and that's why the gun laws also hasn't changed, because you got people in place who say, "Hey, I need this to stay the way it is."
Yeah, the NRA give a nice campaign contribution. They put a lot of money out there. So you know, so those things. I mean, think about this, right?
You shake your head, Lisa.
So let's think about this.
It's so disheartening, y'all. I mean, for real. Like,
but that's just the nature of it. Let's go back. Let's for a second. Let's go back to the Civil War, right? And we've talked about this before, but let's go back to the Civil War. You got to understand that the Civil War, we know it was about slavery, right? Because it was about money. It was about free labor. But get this, The ones who slavery meant the most to, because they were making the most money, didn't fight in the wars.
Nope.
They drafted low income whites in the South to fight, and they made them fight in the war. They made them fight in the war, right? And so now they're in a war and they're fighting. And so that's why in some of their minds, they're conflicted because, oh, they've been sold one picture.
Mhm.
And the powers that be at the end of the day say, if we ain't fighting about slaves, what we fighting for?
Correct.
Right? So this thing about those in power wanting to maintain power, wanting to maintain their financial edge, this ain't just happening.
It's been happening.
It's been happening.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and the way they make sure they stay in power is they sell a narrative to those who are less informed, any narrative that they would need in order to get them stirred up.
Mhm.
And get this, it's not just the far right, it's the far left.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're doing it as well. It's the same things about money. Me and Leslie, we were talking about this today because State Farm was pushing this thing about transgenders and educating the elementary students and pushing these types of educational
I
materials.
wish
Right?
they would.
But they pulled back from that. Why did they pull back from that? Because they realize that there are a lot of people who are more conservative than they think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
follow what I'm saying? But the extremes speak the loudest.
And
And
that's
those are the groups that we hear.
Yep.
And the majority in the middle, because we're so quiet, we tend to sway to whichever group is speaking the loudest, to
Yeah.
which we might lean towards.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even though we don't agree with everything, we'll lean more that way because they're speaking louder than
or the
what
one
we-
that may help benefit us too.
Yeah.
right.
I'm
So-
gonna lean this way because it's gonna benefit me more, or I'm gonna lean that way because it's gonna benefit me more. Not that it's gonna help the whole group.
Yeah. But for a lot of us, but
That
honestly,
sounds like the lesser of two evils again.
It is.
Boom, boom. But here's the problem that we continue to fight, and that's why it's been a problem. That's my favorite subject. Going back to the Civil War, taking away the community piece. Once I take that away, once you not think about left or right, if I'm just thinking about us, going back to the Black Panthers, how can we help us? How can we help push our community, keep our community? Then there's a problem. I gotta either have you either on the left, on the right. I cannot have you working systemically together in one force under one nation, under God, to the visible, with liberty, and that nah, we don't want that. We don't.
Yeah.
It's good to say, but it's a different thing to do.
So, but anyway, I digress.
Yeah, so let's hit this other current event, social studies, because it's social studies class. Y'all done brought all the history and whatever. It's also just a sidebar. It's also what, Black Music Month? Marvin, you got one for us? You got some?
I got one. Yeah, listen, I was thinking this one the other day. I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, I'm your
nigga.
I'm your pusher.
I'm your pusher man.
That was perfect timing.
They pushing. Yeah, perfect.
It depends on what you buying in this place. They're pushing all type of stuff out
They
here.
pushing all type of stuff.
Oh, perfect song.
I can always depend on you. Always.
JT fell right in line. He knew exactly what it was.
Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you straight up. The entrance to that song, man, I love just the way it come on. That's my joke.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Lisa. Go ahead.
No. It's fine. So Kim had already warned me that we was gonna be talking about them guns for a while. She was like, "We're gonna be there all night talking about them guns." It boggles my mind. It boggles my mind.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
One thing we got to be careful of, right? we keep hearing the only thing that'll stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with the gun.
He's a good guy with a gun, right?
That is so far from the truth.
I agree. I agree 100%.
I was looking at some studies show that most individuals who stop someone with the gun are unarmed.
Yeah, they crazy.
The other thing is when you talk about a good guy with the gun and help comes, how do I know the difference? You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, who
And
is
so-
the good guy with the gun?
Who's the good guy? You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So true gun control and stopping this doesn't mean I gotta arm everybody.
Right.
It means we have to do better with having gun control laws. period.
Correct. Well,
But
and then
even-
too, it's not that it's non-existence. You know, we call ourselves one of the best country in the world, but you have other countries that are outpacing us in so many areas.
And no, hold on. Let me say this. Let me say this, and I'm gonna stop. And not in so many areas. In every area that counts, America is not number one. We're not number one in education. We're not number one in transportation. We're not number one. We can go down the line where we're not number one in anything except for attitude.
A sense of entitlement.
I want to say something, man, but I want to say something, but I don't know if I should.
You say everything else.
Listen, I was talking to a white guy one day, and he flat out said, "You know what? The world would be a better place if the United States did not exist." I was like, "Wow."
We
Did a
hit
white
everybody
guy-
business and we don't do what we supposed to do.
Yeah, I was like, did a southern white guy just say this? Like,
Well,
man,
you know-
and I was
You know
like,
why he says that, right? He said that because we influence so many other nations to want to act like us.
that's true.
Think about this. How many times have you seen kids growing up in one house felt like their parents were so strict and wanted to be like the kids whose parents let them do whatever they want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we look to the rest of the world, because in America, we can say what we want, say what we want to say, play how we want to play.
Freedom to do this, freedom to do that. Freedom.
Adams family.
And your mama got to hit you with, well, I ain't none of Josh mama and daddy. You ain't gonna do you ain't gonna
Right.
do.
But
Every
again,
time they
that's
can't
how we look. So when you look at other places that are having these uprisings and started having riots and things like that in the streets, you know what they're looking at, right? They're looking at America. And what I need us as Americans to understand is that if one aspect of us fall apart, everything that you hold dear falls apart. America would not be strong financially if we're saying, oh, blacks have no place. America would not be strong if we say whites have no place. What makes America great is if we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men on America are created equal, and everyone in America has the right to the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And until we as a nation understand that, we're going to be in trouble. You follow what I'm saying?
Understand it or do it, because we understand it.
Well, both. Part of that is because we don't see. When I understand I need you, I start treating you a little different.
I got you.
Yeah.
But until I understand that, I'll cut my nose off to spite my face.
Yeah, but need you in the sense of, because you needed us before, but you used us.
Yeah. Well,
So
listen,
need us in what way? I don't know whether is need us the right word.
Yeah, it's the right word.
But in what way? Because are you needing us to go back to our place?
No. That's
Okay.
no. In other words, in order for America to function, I need you. I need your ideas. I need the way you think, along with the way I think.
But needed to steal it or needed for us to use it together?
I'm not
I'm
saying,
just saying, because that's what you've been
But-
doing all this time. We
but
have
again-
great ideas,
but
great
again,
inventions, and you stole them.
Our inventions. That's why they killed them. They're gonna
I'm
steal
just
his inventions.
saying. I mean, I get what you're saying, Marvin, but you know, I can't be nobody but Lisa.
so basically, you know my intent on what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. I'm just messing with
Now,
you.
now, whether or not everybody in the powers that be align up to that, that's a
Yeah.
whole nother.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
going back to Lisa's point, they don't, and they are where Lisa's thinking. We don't. We need it, but we can take it.
Mhm.
Whatever it is that you got, we need it, and we're gonna take it because
Yeah.
we can, and that's the
Because that's the
mentality,
American way.
and that's the way it's been and still
But-
is. If we,
but this the thing.
You're right, Marvin. You're a commodity.
This
And we
this
know
this
that.
the thing.
But-
I think
we
this is
don't-
what we got to
We don't
understand.
value you the way you think we should value you.
I think this the way this what we got to understand, right? Is this when what you're dealing with, it's not every person. It's those who have the power to do what you're saying.
Right.
And they would do that to black, white, Hispanic.
Anybody.
They would do that
That's
to
the
any,
problem.
because they have the money and the power to do it.
Mhm.
Correct.
I'll tell you this story real quick. I know someone who used to ghostwrite for a very famous motivational speaker. And they used to ghostwrite for them and write, some of their books, majority of the books that you would see, you buy all these bestsellers and all this stuff, right?
Mhm.
So one day this person wrote a book for themselves. And they thought they were cool with this person. And they gave it to them for them to read just to see what they would say. The person took the book, put their name on it.
Yep.
And when my friend called them and called them out on it, they said, you don't have enough money to fight with me. So you can either let me have this one and I'll give you
That
something
sound
else.
familiar.
Or we could just, you could see what you can do to get it.
And see that, the problem with what you said, Ms. Black just confirmed it. That is not a new thing. It's so common that they had it on Greenleaf. It's so common that it's in the movies. It's in the
Yeah,
they've
but
already
this-
seen this
But
thing.
this wasn't a movie. This wasn't a movie. This
Yeah,
was,
I know it's
yeah.
real life.
And,
But
and I'm not going to say the
fiction movies
person's
are
name
real
who
life.
actually did it.
Right.
But I will say this, though. We're not talking about what a white person did to a black person.
We talking about what a black person did to a black person.
We're talking about what a black person did to a black person.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Y'all know
But
we
guess
some
what?
smart
Guess what? It
Why
happens.
would he give it to him to read?
Too.
But we learned
It happens the other way
we
around.
learned it from somewhere.
Correct. I was just saying it happens where a white person would do it to a white person.
We can say that.
But we have learned that this is how you get ahead, because that's what it is.
We can say
the
that.
American way.
But
You
no,
steal
we
your
can
way
say
to
that.
the top. Just steal
But
it.
society, all of us believe society started where?
Africa.
In Africa. And the first person that was taken as slave, first African was taken in slavery, was put enslaved by an African. The first slave that was sold wasn't sold by a white man, was sold by an African.
Right.
So listen, we understand that bad things happen and we have been victimized.
But
I
point of
think that-
order.
I
No, there's
think
a
that
point
might
of order
be-
that needs to happen.
Go ahead.
Point
what's
of order is that when an African sold another African, it wasn't the same way as when a white man sold an African. Africans did not view other Africans as cattle or as less than the other person. And number two, that African had an opportunity to gain his way out of slavery.
Mhm.
So that's the other piece that people don't always consider. The way
And the way
The
it's
way
supposed to
white
be and what
folks-
really happened, friends, is two different things.
No, but again, the way white folks thought of black slaves was not the same way the black man thought of another black man if he was selling that person.
Okay.
Again, it's
So
different.
we're in
Yeah,
agreement
because
then.
supposedly that was
Slavery
part
was
of
not
the pay
even
for
a
their crimes that they committed. It's
slavery
my
was not even
understanding. We need to have a whole history person here.
Yes, we do. Because
Yeah,
again,
because
slavery
are
was
we
not
saying that every
indentured to
African tribe?
forever. These people were going to keep you in slavery forever.
So Lisa, we're gonna have to get an historian here because the question will become: are we saying that every African tribe treated every other African tribe as equal?
No, I'm saying that even when they captured them, they did not see them as cattle, as less than human. That's
I'm
how.
not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing
and the
with
other
that.
pieces, again, they didn't see them as slaves. It wasn't until white people brought Africans to America that they said this is what a slave is. Slavery did not exist in that type of mindset.
Slavery existed in other nations outside of America.
Yeah, but it was not the same mindset in terms of you are not human. You're not.
Have you
You're
read
less
the
than-
Bible and the Egyptians and how they enslaved the Israelites? Them was cattle.
It's not the same.
Now that was a little different when they first got there. That was a little different.
Not the same.
That was a little different. I'm gonna agree with Franz on
We
that.
gotta bring our guy. What's Dr.
Dr. Harris.
Dr. Harris? Got to bring Dr. Harris back.
Yeah. Now I'm agree with France on that one. The Israelite, that was a little different because they actually became indentured servants because of the famine.
Right. I'm just messing around.
Yeah, they became indentured.
See, again, we get caught up and we miss out on some of the details, but really
But
understanding.
you
That's
still
how I
don't
say-
treat indentured servants like that. That was bad.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to tell. Yeah, I was having a conversation. I know we over time.
Always, friends.
Man, y'all
Always
ain't even
overtime.
get to the other.
Listen,
We didn't get to map. We didn't get to the maps.
oh, we got to get to the map, but before the map,
Let's do that next
were
week.
getting
I got
whipped.
some rope.
we were getting whipped. Well, I should say, black slaves in America were getting whipped at the speed of sound.
Mhm.
That's how, if you just think about, I was talking to my frat brother, he told me that, I was like, that's crazy. The speed of sound, that whip was beating the speed of sound. These people did not see you the same way. They treated you. I mean, some of the things we don't even see how bad
Yeah.
it really was.
Well, and to Lisa's point, a point of clarification, as Brother Maurice would say, when they first went into the Israelites first went into slavery, they were indentured slaves. Let me get that right. But when a new
Indentured
Pharaoh
servants.
came, he started treating them differently, and then again, things changed. But anyway, we'll talk about maps later.
Talk about
Nah,
what?
MAPs.
No, you
I'm
was
just-
going to talk about the change in the map from Florida.
No.
Okay. I was about to say that's a good conversation right there.
No, because y'all were going to talk about Dr. Larry Nasser,
Yeah.
and I was watching this
He nasty.
video. I was watching this video, and they were like, you know how people don't want to create a stigma because this has a stigma, so don't call them this, don't call them that. And so I thought it was hilarious that they were like, they don't want to call a person a pedophile.
He's a pedophile though. He nasty.
But no, they say they don't want to call him a pedophile because of the stigma. They want to call him a minor attractive person.
Well,
He's
again,
a pedophile.
but they always
Hey, is that what they call R. Kelly?
They call him R. Kelly a nasty pedophile, and I'm calling that a nasty.
I ain't never heard them say map for R. Kelly.
Oh,
you know,
But I'm just
the
saying.
sad part of that whole thing is that the sad part of that whole
And
thing is
that's
that
part of the problem right there.
it's
Trying to
sad
make
because
everybody feel good about
Correct.
their issue and whatever.
Yeah.
If
You
you're a
can't feel good
pedophile,
about you're
a
a pedophile.
rapist, you are
Nasty.
under the jail.
and that's the sad part. It's because they cover up so much.
And
So
that's
many
the point
young
of what
women.
the FBI, of them suing the FBI, because
They
Yeah.
and they
there have been
knew.
some girls that
They
would
knew.
not have been touched.
Yeah, if
Correct.
you had
They
an
did their
accident, what you
job.
supposed to do?
Correct. You're supposed to do your job. And if
Yeah.
it was a black doctor, we putting him under the jail.
Got to get it. We
We're gonna-
finna
First of Crucify him. Crucify him.
We got to get him. We got to get him worse than Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, O.J. Simpson, a bunch of other dead black people. That they gonna get other people.
I'm gonna say it one more time.
Huh?
Nasser is a nasty pedophile.
But
Yeah,
again,
that's what he is,
the
a pedophile.
problem with that, Miss Black, is that people
Ain't
know
no problem
he
with that.
is.
He nasty.
No, he is. He is. But we have a society that says when you're white and you have an issue, we'll give you treatment.
No, it depends on what your money like and how they respect you and what you get here. Because they didn't do that with what's the man that hung himself that was trafficking them girls with Donald Trump and all them other people.
Oh, he had to kill. He didn't kill himself. They went in there and killed him. That's just me.
Don't believe that man hung himself.
You know I know the man that, come on, I'm
They went in there and killed him.
political correct for one time, dog.
Listen,
They should have hung.
you
They
know
should have
what?
hung.
This what they do. And
They
I
should
got
have
a
hung
feeling-
him.
Listen,
His name Nasser.
listen.
I
As
need to
soon
see if
as
I can
you
catch up
have a
with Dr.
problem,
Harris
if
and
you have
see
a
if he
problem,
can come hang out with us next week, because it is leading up to Juneteenth, so that would probably be
Hang him.
a good time to have a good history lesson.
I don't even know you hang him. Nasty pedophile hanging.
Hey, on a different note, Lisa, I'm upset you gave Kim the drink of the day and you ain't say nothing to us.
Because we have the same pusher. We got the same pusher.
Y'all got the same jar drinking the same thing. And I'm like, why?
Y'all better ride out the SG1.
And who was that? That's
we got a Sunday pusher.
Yeah,
we got a Sunday pusher. So I buy two. I drank a little bit, put in the freezer, so it lasts me a long time. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, who was that? The sweet lemonade?
Yeah.
Rush.
Man, Sugar Rush. Oh boy, listen. I had to push back from Sugar Rush because Sugar was rushing big time for me.
What did you say? I drank a little bit and I freeze it so it don't go bad.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, mine lasts me a minute too.
Yeah.
Man, listen. I used to hit her up and be like, "Let me get one of everything you got. What you got left?"
Yeah.
And she'll let me get them.
Well, she don't leave church too much with
with nothing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said, am I gonna go out to eat this Sunday? I'm gonna buy my lemonade. I'm gonna buy my lemonade and go home and fry me some chicken.
Listen, we got to do better. This is all going out there to y'all. We got to do better, people. We got to do better. That's why I like that Tupac song. He was right. We got to watch what we eat, the way we live, the way we treat each other. We got to do better, people.
We do. Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm on my journey, man. I'm trying to make my body look like it looked in high school. I don't know how close I'm gonna get, but I'm gonna try to get close.
You go right on ahead, because I'm 50 and I don't care what it look like.
On that note, Miss Black, happy birthday! Belated birthday!
I just stopped celebrating. Thank you.
Happy birthday!
She celebrated all month.
In a couple days.
And I don't blame you because that's what I do too.
Well, that's what I've already started. I've already started.
That's right. I got a lot of friends that didn't get a birthday.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, it's definitely. Listen, if you are watching us on YouTube, Facebook, hit the like, hit the subscribe, never miss another show. We so appreciate you hanging out with us, even though friends always make us run over time.
He's so optimistic. He's optimistic about everything, y'all. Everything. He's optimistic.
So I'm thinking that Kim, I think you need to come back next week.
Okay.
So we can and I'm gonna see if I can get Dr. Harris on, and we're gonna dig a little deeper. We're gonna dig a little deeper. We also are going to talk about and celebrate Juneteenth, which is coming up and is now a national holiday, so everybody
get off work
Monday off. Yes,
get off work. Woo woo, get off work.
Right. I don't know what we're gonna do.
I ain't gonna celebrate nothing. I'm gonna be at the house, and I'm gonna tell you.
Right.
Neat day for me. Power to the people.
We got to use that day to reflect. Although we should be using let me stop.
Every day
you know what? France.
Optimistic.
France.
He
That's
most
right.
definitely
Just
came
throw
to
it
show
up.
us
Don't
a
say
black.
nothing else. Just throw it
I
up. Just
know,
throw it up.
right?
Don't say nothing else. Just stay right there. Don't you move. Don't
Listen,
you move.
we so appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Coming up soon, be on the lookout for our. So is he frozen or he frozen like that? I love it.
Make him think it's
Be
a
on the
picture.
lookout for our summer subscriber campaign coming up again this summer. And then we also have a book that we will be reviewing this summer for our book club in it. It is about Coach Jake Gaither. So we are so excited about that. So be on the lookout for that. That information will be shared really soon. So good night, everybody. And we I think we're gonna see this whole crew back next week, but we'll see. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night.